gosh. Some I I'm here. Somehow I clicked it right at 3 and I was getting this like film thing. In fact, you can probably see it capture. I had all these captures with this thing going backwards across it. And it somehow was something hooked on to something got hooked up wrong with my camera. And the camera was doing some kind of blip. So Mark touched the camera screen, but we have restarted the computer. We have done everything. So nobody probably still waited. They probably said, you know what? Forget this. Oh, I'm exhausted. All right. Well, we're going to have a good time. You know, I like this new modern age in electronics if it works. But that's the problem. Oh, that's the rub. It's working.
Are you on there, sweetie?
Huh?
Are you on?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Thanks, hon. Yep, it's working. Oh, my God. Hello. I'm here. Oh, Michelle's here. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, I was so frustrated. I was about in tears because each week I keep trying to get it to work so I can be on time because people aren't going to sit around and look at nothing. And even my daughter was trying and her kids wanted to see the live feed. But it ended up being something with the camera. And once he touched the little screen, it reset itself. But until then, I was seeing backwards video going by. So how are you, sweetie? How's vacation coming? How are the babies? Need to set this up higher so I can. So, yes, and I was even going to confess that I lost a bet. So, let's see. I know Michelle's here. I wonder if there's someone else, I think. Boy, I put a new daylight bulb in my lamp, and it's really washing me out. Let me move that away just a little. Hello. Okay. Yes, I lost a bet. Michelle, when you lived here, did you ever go and shop at the Pineapple Fabric sales? Because I just went my first time. It was amazing. My Becky's really excited. There's Becky. Woo! Hi, Evan. Hi, Charlotte. Nana's finally here. Every week that I do this, some snafu happens. Today, it was running a scroll of something backwards, and so I was nearly in tears. Mark came down and ended up touching the camera screen, and it finally went off. But I was here and ready at 3 o'clock. So thank you for hanging in there, guys. Hi, Evan. So did you like seeing your busy book on the screen? Uh-oh, it just did. Busy book on the YouTube? Just think, Evan, you're famous now. How is Charlotte today? I loved her purple fingernails yesterday. My kids are growing up. So I was just going to get ready to mention that I lost my bet because I went back with Becky to Pineapple Fabrics. And Becky, I don't think I told you, but I got these 2 kits that have lots of wool in them. And I've been wanting to do wool applique because that's a whole different kind of applique, and it's It's very simple. You can do beautiful little folk art things, especially like for Christmas. And so I got these packs. I mean, look at the size of the wool that I got. This is a 1/4 yard of wool. So anyway, the good news is they had those patterns. I don't know if you remember seeing boxes labeled as free patterns. I picked up about 6 patterns that are wool applique, really cute ones, like nature and, birds eating a piece of a pear or those kind of sweet things. Let me see. You're good, Evan. Mama made you even paint the chicken coop. Oh, did Charlotte paint the chicken coop? Oh, but then you got to play video games. Well, see, that's wonderful. You do your chores, then you get the reward. I love it. I love it. This morning when Nana woke up, I had Blossom. Her hair is just too much and she needed a bath. So I had to trim Blossom. And I had to use my patience because she wants to bite the trimmer, but we just worked slowly, gave her lots of treats. Then I had to bathe her, and I had to do her anal glands. So that's considered work, smelly work. And then I had to take my shower, and I cleaned the kitchen, and I fed the birds. So I did my chores, and now for me, this is fun. So Charlotte, say something about, I know what. I want to show Charlotte something. Charlotte, look what I found that it was on sale at the quilt show with Alex Anderson. And it was on sale for only $4 and $4.35 or something. And it's... Whoops, hold on. It's Hansel and Gretel. And I think y'all did it. Didn't I make y'all a Hansel and Gretel? I'm trying to remember. But this is going to be for Uncle Chris and Aunt Nikki's baby. So I figured when I see baby stuff, grab it because I'll be using it. So y'all did a great job. We're covered head to toe with paint. What color did you paint it? And yes, I have been busy today. I felt like the Army commercial today. I do more before 9 o'clock. Well, actually, it was 1 o'clock. I do more before 1 o'clock. White. Well, that's a very good, neutral, all-around color. I wonder if Michelle's still on here because then she could say hi to you. She signed in, but I'm not sure if she's still there. But I'm going to keep working on this live feed stuff because it's fun when I do it, and it just gets frustrating when I can't get on. But anyway, yeah, my chickens are out running around the yard. Mark was going to go for a bike ride, but it looks like it might rain. A lot of clouds moving in. And he came in and said, don't go outside. It is so humid. Do not go out. So that's why I said, what kind of indoor things can I do? And Blossom feels so much better now. But, Becky, it worked really being patient with her and, giving her little treats and calming her down. But I still have to do most of the work by scissors. She just doesn't like the clippers, and she's got the wrong kind of fur, that she... You like, who is that using emojis? Is that Becky, Evan, or Charlotte using emojis? So here, while I'm here, this also records so that people can watch it later. So I'm going to kind of go on in while we have quiet time and show you when I broke my bet. Yes, I lost. I'll admit it. That's why Mark laughed, like when I told him, I'm not going to buy any fabric till at least October, and he laughed. And he was right. But what I did is I went back to the pineapple 3-day sale. I went Thursday and then I went back Friday with my daughter Becky, and she was thrilled because they had a sale where everything that fit in their tote, all the yarn that could fit in the tote for $25, and then it was another like 20% off that. So she made out like a bandit, and it was really quality yarn. She uses the natural fibers, and so I'm just so tickled for her because there's Michelle again. Becky's on, and Evan and Charlotte. Michelle, I thought you'd like to say hi. Yeah, last night, Michelle, I did think of you last night. We went to Barbecue Joe's in High Point and had some wonderful barbecue, and Mark had some brisket, and it was yummy. It was yummy. And oh my gosh, the hush puppies. Woo! And congratulations to Chrissy. I don't know if I'm technically supposed to say that yet. They kind of were going to wait a little longer, but it's hard not to be excited about new grandbabies. You know that. And Michelle has 3 grandbabies now. The first 2 girls and then a cute little boy. But I got this fabric. Charlotte helped me pick out what Christmas fabric. I saw the cutest wall hanging, and it's 3 trees. And the first one, and it's cute the way they use the different greens. So it's like patchwork tree, but kind of in the shape of like showing the shadows and the snow on the branches. And yes, we're going to make lots of baby quilts. And so then, and Michelle has been really good at making some quilts. She does beautiful work. In fact, Michelle, did you see on my latest video, I put yours and Busy Pat's, I think, some of y'all's quilts on the end of the video. And, but anyway, I saw this really cute pattern for a wall hanging, and it had 3 trees, and the outer 2 kind of were like swayed over with snow. I searched and searched and searched for that pattern. Cannot find that pattern anywhere. It said it was going to be on Craftsy, but then when you go to the Craftsy link, it's no longer valid. So I sat down. I had to put EQ8 on my new laptop. I did that, and then I sat up till about 1:30 designing my a version the best I could remember and things I wanted to change in it. So I designed that, and I'm thinking of making it and then teaching it at Sewingly Yours. So anyway, so when I went the other day to Pineapple Fabrics, Charlotte helped me choose this. There was one that was a black background and had poinsettias, but it didn't have any of the green and the white and the gold, and we decided this looked prettier. And then I also got a beautiful stripe. Isn't that that is so classy. I like that. Then I got green with some gold. And because the other day I bought a bunch of greens too. And here's some green with gold spots. So that I can make that wall hanging and then teach it. I'd like to teach it at the shop maybe in early November. And I wanted to do something, not a big full quilt. I found a really cute quilt pattern, that had presents, and you use the fabric and, for the get like a wrapped present. But I said, that's a lot to make. It's one thing if I were to teach that in September, but by the time late October, November comes around, I have to figure out why the camera keep this going. But so anyway, and then I got a couple more. Charlotte found this purple for me. Remember, Charlotte? And then I had to get a few more on the Yahoo, on our Time to Quilt Yahoo site. I put up instructions for a block of the week Halloween quilt. And I have never done a Halloween quilt. I've done pumpkin quilts, but never Halloween. So here I got all of these at Pineapple Fabrics. But when I went back with Becky, my daughter, then I got this because I needed another dark. And Charlotte found a purple for me because I love purple and with the Halloween colors. And I had already gotten that stripe. So I thought, ooh, there's room for purple. And then this is so cute. I got a bunch of this. I needed, I think, 1.25 yards. So I bought 1.5 yards. But isn't that cute? So, and luckily we saw this. I couldn't find it. I was like, Charlotte, I need another big pattern. And somebody who had already bought theirs, the bolt was laying on the counter. So I didn't grab it because I knew the lady had to write it down. But she said, I saw you eyeing this. And I said, yep, give me some of that too. So, and then I think I ended up while I was there buying some fat quarters, and these are nice fabrics, not the fabric that feels like paper that you can get from a store, a nationwide store that won't be named. But anyway, these were nice, and they probably ended up about $1.79, something like that. So, because you know what I find? When I go to my retreat, we do fat quarter bingo. I hate cutting into the fabrics that I love. And I don't want to cut them fabrics that I hate. But when I buy a fabric, I get attached to it. And then I'm supposed to give some of it away. So that's hard. But now I only have to have 2 more. I can find 2 fabrics in my stash to share. So, and then I got my wool. I'm going to... Michelle, have you done anything with wool? Oh, Moda has a free Christmas gift. I did. That's the pattern. That's the pattern. It was cute. It was like 16 Christmas gifts and the little bows. And I thought about doing that to teach a class for the shop. But then I said, that's a lot of work. Just takes time. You know that. And it's like, we don't have much time. But with the retreat in November, it kind of gets in the way of me doing fall, because in October, I'm so busy preparing for the retreat. And then the retreat's right in the middle of the month. And then it seems like that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas just zooms by. So it's a mess. But look at these wonderful fabrics. And I think I was asking Michelle, have you done any applique with wool? Because I got some free patterns and I put them way over there, but they're really cute little nature patterns and birds and fruits and plants. And it was a block of the month. See, this wool, these packs of wool, I got all this wool for $4.99, and it was from the Keepsake Quilting catalog, I guess, at some point. And like this bag says $19.99, and I got it for $4.99. But you know how hard it is to find wool? And I was telling them when I go to quilt shows, there is the most wonderful vendor who comes. And I mean, her patterns and her wool are just so beautiful. And in fact, somewhere I have a kit, but they're really expensive because wool's expensive. So when I can find it on clearance, that's my price. So let's see. How are we? Oh, it says 5 people are on here. Please feel free to say hi, speak up and say hi. I am going to start my first block of the Halloween quilt today. And, I know what I was going to show you. Hold on a second, guys. I know what I was going to show you. So I got a free Pineapple Fabrics button. This will go to my winner. Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. Nice to see you again, hon. And then I got these 2 free patterns. Do you recognize these? McKenna Ryan from Pineapple Fabrics. I'm going to put them on the site. We'll have a drawing. And I figured, okay, we'll not just do it just with 2 winners, but we'll have a winner. Maybe it wins a Pineapple Fabrics button, Pineapple Fabrics bags. So I like to spread the wealth, instead of just having winner take all. So, but anyway, they're coming. So I will be putting those on our Time to Quilt Yahoo site very soon. So I've been working on, another thing. We were going to have a drawing for a prize on the site because last week we were talking about labeling quilts. And so I have fabric labels that I've bought. I bought these from a shop and they were just like, they gave me double what I asked for and paid. So these are all little quilt labels, real sweet little labels. And then you get up, you're going to have to help me, Michelle. What's the name of that pen, that permanent? Pigma. Michelle helped me last week figure that one out. And then I have some of these modern and hip quilt labels. But Becky, I don't know does the knitting world have some way of labeling their knit work? It's like we have been encouraged as quilters to label the quilts with our name and the date, any information like that, so that in the future historians can know exactly who made it and of what and all of that. So quilt labels, are a real big thing, and labeling your quilts for the future. So, and I didn't know if knitters had something like that. Okay, here we got the answer. They have fabric tags for things like sweaters. They even have washing instruction tags. Very good. Speaking of the Yahoo site, I sent an email but didn't get any response. Should I get with Bonnie? Speaking of Bonnie, where is she? I missed last week, so I'm behind. You sent an email but didn't get any response. I've been real busy, so I might have missed it. But you don't think people label things like socks or hats? Yeah, I guess you would label sweaters or whatever. Something that like it takes. I wouldn't label a wall hanging probably, especially if it's just kind of a. I would label more heirloom and gift type things. Yeah. So, Melissa, I'll have to check. I've been really busy the last several days. I haven't been home much. So, but anyway, I told people on the Yahoo site, if you want labels, instead of doing contests for labels like I first thought, I said, just send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and I'll share my labels with you. So I gave her a bunch of labels and one of the modern ones. And this is for Busy Pat. So she already got her self-addressed stamped envelope to me. And I think I put in probably a dozen, and I think it works real well. I'll just seal it up and pop it in the mail tomorrow for her. So Busy Pat, it's coming back to you. Now, Melissa, all of our work, that's one thing I told people, that when I look at an antique quilt, I'm in awe. I feel like it's a gift to all of us in the present from the maker in the past. And I never, ever look to see if they made a mistake or if their work was sloppy. I just am in awe that that person with so much going on in their life took the time to make a piece of art. And that art has survived down through the generations. So please label it. Let people know you were here. I look at my quilts now, and my quilts tell me little things like what I was listening to on the radio or what TV show I was watching. Because a lot of times if I'm working on a quilt and I'm listening, or what audiobook was I listening to? But more, I have quilts like when I was separated and going to get a divorce. That was a sad time in my life, and I put a lot of thought and a lot of angst into this quilt. And then when I finished the quilt and things were looking better, then it became my new life quilt. So I have a feeling it's the same with these people from history, that quilt carried memories in it of that time in their life. And yes, there are no mistakes, Becky. Good job. They are design elements, and you are entitled to change your design at a moment's notice. But all of this should be fun for us. There's so many things that we have to do right. We have to raise our kids right. We have to go to the doctor. We have to stick on our diabetic diet. Florida. There's so many things we have to. We have to pay taxes. We have to have the car inspected. Well, our artwork, whether it's knitting, whether it's painting, whether it's quilting, that's what we do to feed our souls. And you know what? There are no quilt police, no knitting police, no any police allowed in what we do to fill our souls. And let me tell you something. The only person who ever made a perfect quilt, well, that was a short list because there are no perfect quilts. You could probably have a pretty close to perfect quilt made by a computerized sewing machine, whatever, cut out by a computer. But you know what? I don't think they keep you as warm as a quilt that's a little wonky, but made by somebody who put love in it. And I'm not a religious person, but when I went to a special camp at a time in my life that I really was doing a lot of reflecting on things in the past, the nuns that staff that camp made each of us attendees a prayer shawl. That prayer shawl will be with me forever. It just that someone cared, and knowing that while they were sitting there and they were crocheting this shawl, they were thinking good, positive thoughts for us. So I'm all for enjoying it, loving it, fill up your soul. When I was so tickled at Pineapple Fabrics, and she mentioned, that I took the kids with me, her two children, and said, we're going to go in here and you just take your time and think, because I know that she had a lot of bins to search through to get just the kind of wool she wanted. And when I looked at her, she came up with those bags, that made me feel wonderful, because I know what that feels like. You're a busy mom and you give so much of yourself to everyone. She also teaches, and her husband teaches, so they're constantly giving to everyone. I used to consider, when I was in a bad mood, I would consider it being picked to death by piranhas. But you give so much of yourself. And when I saw her with those bags of wool, that was something just for her. Now she'll turn and make most everything and give it to other people, but it fills her soul first. And that's what's really important. So you were a kid in a candy store. Absolutely. And not having to feel guilty because you're getting hundreds of dollars. She sat down and added it up later. She ended up getting between $200 and $400 worth of yarn in a bag for what ended up coming out after the extra discount to $21. And it's not often in life. I mean, oh gosh, in life you have doctor bills, the car acts up and you need repairs on that. Something goes wrong with the house, you need to repair that. It's not often that you get just a pure joy and a good deal. So I feel filled up now. I don't know if I could buy any more fabric. Right now, I've reached maximum. In fact, I don't know if you can see back on the counter, my room, I started having piles of stuff everywhere. And I mentioned to Mark, I said, I need to clean my room. He goes, I noticed that because I've been keeping it really tidy. I don't know why that camera's doing that, but it's mad. Can y'all see when it switches? Oh, no. And you know what else you're looking at? You're looking at the box around my face. Okay, let me see. I might not be able to do this, but let's see if I can. I think I go to menu. Okay. And then let me see. Click on this. I hope you can still hear me, guys. I'm coming back. Okay. Oh. All right. see the little box around my face. Oh, but anyway. So Becky, are you knitting right now? And so, I know what I want to show you. Okay. So I was telling you about a wonderful, wonderful quilt. A wonderful quilt that I'm working on that, in fact, Michelle, I think this is the quilt you were talking about. This quilt is free on Moda Fabrics. So anyone who wants this quilt pattern, the quilt itself is not free, but the pattern is. But if you want this, just go to Moda Fabrics, and they have a free pattern section. And this is such a cutie, and I love the colors in it. I just love you modern young people that are driving the market to give us wonderful new colors and new ideas. Thank you very much, because sometimes we get hung up on the same colors or the same patterns. In fact, yesterday, I drove Mark around this new neighborhood, and I wanted to show him where I got certain ideas. Like I put up battens on our A gable. When they built this house in 1969, they had just had plywood and it's painted, but you can tell it's plywood. And I thought about putting cedar shakes or whatever, but it's going to be expensive. It's a lot of work. And so I had been driving through a neighborhood and I noticed that the board and batten siding is coming back in style. Well, how easy was that? So I got some 1x2s and I painted them really good, and he went up and cut them and put them in the A gable, and now it gives it that little distinction, and it doesn't look like plywood anymore. And but I'll have to take a picture. In fact, I've been thinking, Michelle, I'd like to do a video of my flowers and gardens and what we've been working on. And we did a pergola above the garage, so that's always fun. But I'd like to get around to that. But anyway, whoops, let me move some things out of my way. But, okay, so starting last Sunday, was working on a mystery block of the month. And it was not a block of the month, an all-day mystery online. Mary Mayhem, marymayhem.com. Had a wonderful, I was hoping I had a photo of the pattern, but I don't see it down here. I'm sorry about that. It's probably upstairs. But what I noticed in this pattern, it was a star block, like a sawtooth star block. Yeah, it was a sawtooth star because we used Canada geese, flying geese around the edges to make the star. And then the other blocks were just like a square and a square with corner squares. Well, that block that wasn't a star had dark centers, and it made me think of the border print that I was using, because I'm using a Jenny Beyer border. And here is the Jenny Beyer border. Isn't that beautiful? And it looks blue, but it's really a blue purple. And earlier in the week when I was talking about the fabric I purchased, I mentioned that I didn't have many blue purples. So when I was looking at those centers, instead of using using just a square like this of different fabrics, which, don't get me wrong, I picked out some pretty squares to use there. Hold on. I'm looking for my bag of squares, and that's the mediums. It's supposed to be the darks. Here they are. I think I found them. All right. So I cut out a bunch of 5.5-inch squares, like the pattern said. That camera. Okay. So here I Um, and these are beautiful. I mean, especially these Jenny Beyer fabrics. They're just beautiful. All different kinds and prints. But then I got thinking about that border that I was using for the edge. And I thought, what if I did a kaleidoscope type effect? And so what I did was I cut out what I knew I needed for the border, because you have to have that first. And that was these pieces. But then I said, another one. Then I said, what if I took the leftover border? Because I knew I had some leftover. And I used this mirror system. And I placed this mirror on the fabric. And what it does, it shows you, and I did it to where it would be 4 pieces showing. It'll show you what the block would look like if you took 4 exact images and sewed them together to make that 5.5-inch square. Well, let me show you what I came up with. Okay, so here's the border print. Now, I did have a small border added to it because I needed it a little wider. But here's what that made. Here's one. And see, it's got 4 seams. That, seams that go right across. Because what I did, let me show you. What I did is I took a piece of paper and I cut it into a 5.5-inch square. Then I folded it in half diagonally and half diagonally again and got a triangle this size. Okay, so see, this size. And if you notice, there's a little red marker on here, because what I did is then took the border and I put it on a part of the pattern, drew an erasable red marker so that I knew I could then make an exact cut like this 3 more times to make the square. So here's the eye candy. There's one of my squares. And not all of them are perfect because I really had to kind of squeeze them in. I didn't really have enough fabric to easily do this. But that's okay because it looks pretty darn good. And pretty good from the back of a galloping horse, I must add. Okay. Isn't that neat? So you can take what is this and turn it into this by just making sure that you cut 4 identical triangles and then stitch them together. And this one's not fancy. You notice only opposite corners kind of match, but I had to have 15 of them because I wanted to do all of the dark centers the same. This one is off skew. That's because I ran out of fabric. I was doing my best. But now here's a pretty one. So what you do is you put the pretty ones where you're going to notice them first, and you kind of sneak in the less pretty ones. But isn't that cool? Isn't that cool how you do that? All right, Becky, it was great to have you here, hon. Thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Evan. Love you. All right. I will be here every Sunday that I'm around and feeling good. So thank you, sweetheart. Love the kids. Can't wait to see them Friday. Thank you, sweetheart. That's my daughter, Becky. Very talented knitter. She's got some artistic talents. She's a great chicken raiser and has 2 wonderful kids and is a wonderful teacher. And so she inspires me. So, yes, Charlotte's going to be coming up in 8th grade, I think, and Evan's in 5th. Oh, my gosh, they're growing up. They're growing up. So here's another one. Isn't that cool? And another one. So I think this is going to be a real plus for that mystery quilt. I think it'll make it really interesting. And I have more ready to sew when I get around to it. I do not know what my camera is doing. I do not know. But So I'm down to one person. Oh my goodness. I think we lost Melissa. I'm going to try something. Michelle, honey, I'm going to try turning off my camera and turning it back on because it keeps doing that odd running thing. So if you lose me, this is why, okay? But let me see if I can fix this. Okay, let's see, guys. I can fix that, I think. I'm wondering if that's, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it should cause it to act up, but you know, with electronics don't make a lot of sense to me. I can't see my memory card sitting here, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so we've talked about labels, and I've showed you that Busy Pat has some labels coming. Then we talked about my mystery quilt. And Michelle, I've got some really cool colors of fabric, things I'm not used to. Chartreuses and purples and dark olives. Kind of neat. So anyway, and I'm mailing some labels out to Busy Pat. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you, Michelle, sweetie. Did you ever visit Pineapple Fabrics in Archdale when you lived here? Because that's the sale that Becky and I went to. I went with another woman on Thursday and then took Becky back. I told Becky, I said, do you need any yarn? That's like asking a quilter, do you need fabric? Even if the answer is no, the answer is really yes. So, and I'm going to do a Halloween quilt. No, you wish you had. Well, I tell you what, they have all the name brands. They even had those ombres with the dots. I get so excited about those. I haven't bought any yet, but I'm thinking about it. But anyway, they're going to have another sale in October. So Michelle, if you see a type of fabric or things, you put together a little wish list, I'll shop for you and pack it up and send it to you. So especially if I send it in one of those those Mylar bags, it won't cost much to send it to you. But I was so excited because the fabrics ranged from like $450 to the top price was $650 maybe. So that was pretty good. And the thing I loved, it was all the name brands. You know, it wasn't just, sometimes you can go to these discount places and it's off-brand fabric. No, this was stuff that Keepsake Quilting sells, stuff like that. Nice. And I folded. I was going to show you some of the fabric, but I've already folded and put it over there. But you should have seen me, Michelle. I've been pulling out fabric. Yeah, come on, Sandy. I mean, come on. But I've kind of decided, Michelle, that I'm going to try to buy my basics on sales, whether it's 1,000 bolts of fabric. I got a bunch of fabrics for $4.99 from 1,000 bolts. The only problem I had is 3 or 4 of them weren't the color they appeared to be online. And that's frustrating because one of them, I can't really use it for what I needed it for. So that's frustrating. I've never had that problem with other places. I don't know what happened with that. But anyway, I've decided to try to get my backgrounds, my basics on sale, on these sales, whether it's Pineapple or online sales. And then that way only pay full price for things like focus fabrics or panels, things that are exciting that might get me excited to make a quilt. But let's be honest. If I didn't buy another yard of fabric, I have enough to keep me busy for 10 years. So, lost another. Oh, honey, I'm 2 in the state. Whoa, that is scary. I know, I feel really torn. I've been waiting and waiting for fabric prices to drop because who of us can afford to spend over $100 to make a throw size quilt? we're not talking about bed-size quilts. And it's just the price of cotton has gone up so much. It's really becoming difficult. But, and I feel bad. I feel bad. I don't want to lose these quilt shops because quilt shops give us so much. And inspiration, classrooms, meeting places. I mean, ordering online's fine, but then you have to wait for it. You have to plan ahead. If you run out, it's so. Oh, I'm sorry about your. Well, in fact, I was telling Mark I miss taking. Remember how we used to? We take a bus and Sue. I loved getting on Sue's bus, and we take a bus and go do the shop hops. And he said, "Well, why aren't they doing that anymore?" And well, because we've lost so many shops. I mean, I know some places are doing it, but in some places, the shops are so far between. I mean, it's kind of tough. So I'm sorry about your online. I've had a lot of good luck. The service is wonderful at Thousand Bolts, fabric.com and fatquarter.com. Now, the Fat Quarter and fabric.com are cheaper than some places, but I don't know if they always have the sales, and that's tricky. I know that this last class I was teaching, I only had 2 students, so I don't know if maybe it's hard to teach in the summertime, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't like the quality of the fabric. I don't know. It's so much more fun shopping. It's so much fun shopping in a quilt shop. So, but then I have to be careful where I go. That's one thing I've always loved about Sewing Leor's, because their prices are cheaper than another of the local stores we have here. Of course, the friendliness, the service is always there. And then they have the sale racks, and that's really important because, it matters. It matters. But yesterday, Miss Sue had her 75th birthday. So we went to Tanglewood Park and had a birthday picnic for her, and she didn't want any gifts. Well, Miss Sue is such a giving, loving person. I made a donation to the soup pantry, the local food pantry in her name. So, but she's a doll baby. But anyway, so I'm kind of tired. I am not used to all this driving around, and so. Hi, the quilted mule. Hello, Kentucky. How is weather in Kentucky? And it's sad as I'm seeing all the floods like Pennsylvania. Ooh. My goodness, could be worse. Melissa, you're back. Did you get lost? Not to change the subject, but while at your quilt shops, have you looked at the AccuQuilts or Crickets? Yeah, I probably will never get one. I think they're awesome. I think it would make cutting out fabric easy and fun. The Cricut is kind of neat just because if you could make your own design, you didn't have to have a set die. I think if I were younger and had more disposable income, if I had more money, then I would probably look into one. The problem I have with anything like that, it's raining. Yeah, it's raining out here too. And but boy, I tell you what, Michelle, I think I am going to make a video of my garden because it's just going to town out there. I got things growing and growing. But the problem is the dyes are expensive, and I worry that I wouldn't use the dyes often enough. I don't often like to make the same quilt or anything like close to the same quilt. But if you have them, could you tell us about them? Because I've just been put off by the price, I think, more than anything. And I'm kind of an old-fashioned girl. Well, and honestly, I do more art quilts than almost anything else now. So it's harder for me. But tell me your experience because maybe you've had a chance to, people. I do know of a woman who's very prolific quilter and she loves her. She's got the electric one that, it just makes it really easy. And especially like she does quilts of valor and stuff. And I think if you were making a lot of charity quilts, it would be really wonderful. In my quilting world, whatever you want to do, whatever products you like, that's great. If it makes you happy, then that's great. So as long as it makes you happy. But it's just like so funny. The old days I said, I'm never going to sew by hand. And now applique is one of my favorite things. Okay, let me see what we've got here. Melissa said, I wasn't sure if it'd be worth it as I would never have the right one, but wasn't sure. I did get the ruler with the slits to cut fabric more accurate. Oh, good. Good. Oh, did I show you? Yes, I do. Where is my, hold on just a second, guys. Okay. Here's a smaller one, but my June Taylor ruler. Oh my gosh. I use this all the time. In fact, you can tell. Look at this. It's pretty worn out. Normally they start out nice and pretty and clear, but I have used this a ton. And every time I teach a class, we seem to have to cut, so many strips. And boy, do I put good use out of my June Taylor slotted ruler. And I've never cut myself. I've cut a fingernail, but that didn't hurt. I've never cut myself, and I give a lot of credit to these slotted rulers. Because once it's in a slot, it doesn't hop out. Okay, good. You will love it. And don't be, there's a couple little things like, okay, how would you do 1/4 inch cuts? Well, all you do is you learn to eyeball it and you just slide the fabric. This one actually has 1/4 inches. Do you see this? It's actually got 1/4 inches. But let's say you have a bigger one that just has the 1/2 inches. Then just eyeball in the center. So like what I do is, let's say I have to do 3 3/4. Well, what I do is I put it in from the zero edge. I put it in here. Then I cut the fabric on the 4 mark. And so that way, because I've come in some, it's 3 3/4. Same thing with 7/8. Just eyeball what an 1/8 is and move it around your fabric accordingly. So if I were doing 3 7/8, I would move it in from the 0 mark just a little, move it towards the 1 instead of the 0, move it in just an 1/8 of an inch worth, and then cut on the 4. And that way you'd have 3 7/8. But other little good tricks are masking tape or painter's tape. Let's say you have to make a bunch of 2.5 inch strips by width of fabric. This is what I do. I would then take and put a piece of tape at, hold on, I need my eyes. I would put a piece of tape at the 2.5, right there. Then I would put another piece of tape at the 5, because 2.5 and 2.5 equals 5. And then I would put another piece of tape at the 7.5 mark. All right, see what I've done? So this way, I've got this laying on the fabric. I know to put my cutter right in this slot and go 2.5, right here for 5, right here for 7.5, and then another one at the 10. I have them in 4 sizes, believe it or not. I have a small one. I have a little one that kind of does 1/4 square triangles and has slots for that. And then I have those up to the largest ones she makes, which I think are the Shape Pros. And my cuts are so much more accurate because Michelle will tell you that I'm kind of impatient and I'm not always accurate. But yes, Michelle, that electric, Carol Hodges, she brought it to our retreat and let us try it. And that electric AccuCutter, pretty nice. But yeah, that shape cut ruler, I really, really, really love. So, oh, Quilted Mule has subscribed to our channel. Okay, Quilted Mule, I wanted to tell you too, we have a Yahoo group. And if you want to sign up for our Yahoo group, we have free patterns that our members put on. We have quilt challenges. Looks like we're going to get ready for a paint chip challenge. And also I do drawings and free gifts and things like that. So if anyone that comes on here would like to join our Yahoo group, just send me an email to ourtimetoquilt@windstream.net. So there we go. Oops, camera's acting up again. All right, guys. I've got 5 more minutes here, and then I'm going to need to get busy. I've got so much to do this coming up week, and my grandbabies are coming over. They're not grandbabies anymore. They're growing up, but they'll be coming over this weekend. So I've got to get a lot of sewing done this week so I can just play with them when they're here. So, but yeah, you will like that shape cut ruler. You will get your money's worth out of it. You can't believe. So it's really wonderful. And if you have any questions, especially if you're on our Yahoo group, the good thing about that is write your questions on there. And I'm going to go back and make sure that we saw your posting. But I know it's been a little bit quiet the last few days. I haven't been on, and I think we all get busy at the same time. And I'll be here next week again, too. And I always think I'm going to do some sewing on these. And I want to get to that point. I guess, we could, I just want to make sure I don't miss any questions. And I also like to have stuff to show you so I can inspire you and answer any kind of question. But right now, I didn't show you my block of the month. What did I do with it? I'm doing a local shop. We're having a block of the month, and it's about 15 months long. And here's my latest block I made for that. And what we're doing, I just heard some thunder. But we're using the Deb Tucker ruler, the Tucker trimmer. You see that Tucker trimmer? And so we're learning how to use this trimmer to make accurate, easy work of half and quarter square triangles. So that's this. And I'm not usually a pastel girl, but see my focus fabric? Isn't that sweet? So I had to go out and buy some pastels. But anyway, I've got a meeting that I've got to go to Tuesday, or else I'll have to pay yet another $5 penalty for missing the meeting. Because it's like one of the $5 block of the month deals. And so you join. This one, it looks like another one, but they're reversed. You see how they're reversed. So anytime I can make 2 blocks at the same time, that's a good deal for a Deb. So anyway, but I've got that meeting to go to. And then I've got my final class that I'm teaching of my strawberry sweet berry farm quilt, which I have a video in. In fact, I've got 3 videos made that I'm editing to put on site. So I've got to make sure I stay focused. Whoops. Oh no. There I am. I lost myself. Pardon me. Lost myself for a minute there. I must have banged something funny on the computer. So, okay. Yes, but it's wind stream, like wind, like a heavy wind, a busy wind, and then stream, but it's put together, windstream.net. So, but I love our Yahoo group because it's like we've all become friends. And and there's never any stress. We just have fun. Don't feel like, well, I don't have time for all. No, it's when you feel like it. I just realized the other day I haven't watched an Angela Walters video in months, so I kind of did a little binge thing the other night. I kept falling asleep because it was during the night, but I said I don't want to miss a moment of Angela Walters. She's the Midnight Quilt Show. Quilting is her therapy is another one of her names, and she's a doll baby. I just love her to bits. Yeah, please. Oh, so you sent an email to get on the site and it didn't get a response? See, I respond to them always right away. Oh, Michelle, you got a slotted trimmer too. Ooh, yes, use it. You know I love it. I can't stand having to move a ruler every cut and worry that you knock your fabric out of the way. So I love the ruler because when you get it all square and lined up, you don't move it again until you're done. And you could do 2.5 inches and then switch to 3 inches or 3.5 inches and not have to move the ruler. So it has cut my quilting time easily by half, if not more. It really, really, really works. So, but good. Please send another email. So it's Our Time to Quilt, all one word, lowercase, Our Time to Quilt at WINDSTREAM.net. And if you forget, Melissa Hunt, in the comment section of my videos, I try to always put it in there too, because we want to hear from you, and I love it. Good. I love it. Oh, you got one for triangles. I love that one. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to say. I think it's like about this size, and it does my half square triangles and things like that. But where was I going? Oh, my train of thought left the station without me. Hey, Oh, Michelle, I'm going to judge a quilt show in 3 weeks from yesterday. I'm going to judge. I judged it last year. It's in Virginia. It's a real sweet quilt show. So I get to judge again. That's a lot of pressure on me. Becky goes with me, and it makes it fun and easy work. And she's gotten so good at it now that she gives me a lot of good opinions. So it's surprising they trust me to judge quilt shows. I love it, though. I love it. Yes. You know what I do? I make a notepad of paper that I say something kind and constructive. Instead of saying this was wrong or this wasn't good, I say, you might want to try this. Because you have to give them some kind of critique, because that's why they enter them in the show. But I think there's many better ways of critiquing than just saying, what were you thinking? So it was great talking to you guys today. And thank you. And I apologize again about the snafu with the camera. And it's still acting up. So I hope that it hasn't gone wonky on me. And I wish I had known that it was the camera. We just said, I thought something had taken over my computer. Poor Mark. I'm like, Mark, help. But anyway, have a great, great week, you guys. And in fact, Michelle, if you ever want to, we could do this during the week and sew together. So, or can we Skype or something and sew together? So let's do this. If anybody has some time or something during the week, send me an email and I'll see if I can arrange it. Because it usually doesn't take this much to get online. It was a little tricky today, but I love y'all coming. Well, have a great week, and I hope you take time to do something wonderful for yourself that feeds your soul, because quilting is like nothing else for feeding your soul. You're looking for something new in You're welcome, sweetie Melissa. It's been great talking to you. Melissa, were you the one that has a daughter that's getting married soon? Oh, you're looking for something new in September. Ooh, we'll have to let us know what you find or if there's anything we can help you find. So I should just send you one of my kids' wedding quilts and let you finish it because I'm hopeless with that. So, well, thank you, Melissa, and y'all have a great week. And I'll see if I can't get some of my videos finally uploaded. Oh, she got married to a Marine that won't be back until next November. I know that's got to be so hard. Please tell her that thank you for her service because it's not just him that's serving, and both of them, and we appreciate what they do. So bye-bye. Take care.